Call the Devils Lake City Commission to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes of May 5th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Hatch,
I'll second.
Commissioner Pierce. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. No awards or proclamations. Nothing under public hearings at 5:30. No bid openings. Visitors and delegations. Boy, this is going fast. Okay, we're
Just
into
jinxed it, Mayor.
Commissioner portfolios and Commissioner Pierce, if you would, please.
Yes, sir. Chief, what do you got?
Well, so we're currently working on fixing our generator at the station. We're hoping we can get some repairs done to that. If not, we're gonna try and get some bids for what it would take to replace that. It was put in when the building was built, so it's old.
You can't even get it out of there, can you?
Probably not. Nope. So water heater went out, or not the water heater, the water pump went out. So Jeremy's seeing if he can track down some parts to fix it. Piece it back together, so. And then we're hoping to close the application process here in the next week or two, depending on how many applicants we get. So that's what I got for that. And then Corey asked me to recommend approval of the bid for Angry Beaver to do the shade tree.
We got that coming up. All right. Did I watched since I wasn't here last meeting? They were talking about. Mayor asked if they needed help with fill the boot. Do you guys need volunteers? He said he would get back to Mayor.
If you would like to, yes.
I've got a spot at 10 o'clock on Friday if you want to assist me. I don't have anybody, Beaver's Corner.
Okay. Yeah.
Be
I wanted to make sure.
Yep, if we get a few more, we're gonna open it up to Walmart also.
Okay.
I think Rural's gonna bring that up tonight at their meeting and let me know.
I'll get back with you guys on that.
okay. Yep.
All right. Is that it? All right. On the crime task force front, I've been in negotiate talks with Adam from the FI project. He's coming down on Thursday at 1:00 to do a tour of the Old Good Sam building. Him and some of the local providers from the F5 here. We're going to tour that, and hopefully that'll pique his interest some more on getting a transitional living facility opened up here. So I'll let you guys know how that turns out. We have our LAC meeting this Wednesday. We have some questions that we need to answer for the attorney, there about land acquisition. After that, then we can start doing our negotiations for price on some land. And we also have a meeting coming up on the 22nd of this month with Sheriff Lang and some other sheriffs from the surrounding area that have been requested to come in and discuss, the possibility of contracting with us if we do get a new facility built. So it's still just a slow process, but we're working at it. So that's what we have. That's what I got for you.
Do you want to make a motion for that tree bid?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to go ahead and award the tree bid to Angry Beaver
Commissioner
as
Pierce?
presented in front of us.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Eulenkamp. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Kanowski.
Aye.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
Commissioner Eulenkamp.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
President Moe.
Aye, motion carries. All right, that's all you said?
That's all I have.
Okay, Commissioner Eulenkamp.
Mr. Grafsgaard. Streets.
It's National Public Works Week. So this is the week to give thanks to our public works employees. When it's cold and rainy out this morning, the garbage still got picked up. People are out washing underpasses today to try and clean things up and address some of the things for the big weekend coming up. The whole point of Public Works Week is to try and put information out there related to public works. part of that, we try and do a little open house. I would invite the commission. Right now, we're shooting for Friday to put on a meal for Public Works employees. And if the commission would want to be part of that, to serve or whatever, take care of everything related to
Can you
the
send
meal.
that out in
But,
an email?
if you have some interest with that, right now it's looking like Friday around that 11:30 to 1:30 timeframe. We try and fit it in. Different Public Works, when it fits in their slot, they come in and grab a meal, and just a good chance to say thank you for all the dedicated work that our Public Works employees do.
What time did you say?
11:30 to 1:30.
Do you need help cooking and stuff? Is it?
I'll take all the help. A certain ex-fire chief that's really used to cooking for a lot of people.
Well, it used to be Public Works too, so.
Wants to provide.
Can you send that invite out in an email too?
Yep.
Just so I don't have.
I'd come out, Mike, but I'll be gone.
We
Me
understand
and
that.
Mandan.
Our Public Works folks don't even know that we're doing a meal. Usually do it every year, and you always say, this isn't a good week, then you're gonna do it the next week, and that isn't a good week, you know, you to try and pretty soon it doesn't happen. We're just gonna say it's going to happen. And that's what we're going to roll with. So that's all I have for streets, but the Public Works week, important week. If good chance, Mayor, if you have a chance to.
I'll make every effort to be there.
If you can put the word out on the radio tomorrow when you're.
I'll do that. Eric, don't let me forget, please.
I would appreciate that.
Yep,
Public Works folks.
absolutely. We'll do that.
Eric's got it written down.
That's all I have for streets, Commissioner, unless you have questions.
Anything with the cemetery or weed, anything
A lot of-
there?
A lot of prep work for Memorial Day, that's always,
Right.
and with the rain, you know, they always, one of the things that I talk about is it's mowed and it looks very well, you know, very good, but if you get some rain and things are growing and you don't mow for, especially in the area where the VFW, we do the Memorial Day program out there, this short program. We want to make sure that we get that right at the very, you know, last minute that we can to keep that thing mowed. But cemetery is really, at this point, it's looking pretty good.
And Mr. Mayor, if you could also announce in regards to that, the graveyard that Thursday, May 22nd.
Putting flags out.
Yep, at 5:00. And then picking them up on 26th at 4:00. If volunteers would like to come out and help with that out the cemetery, it would be greatly appreciated.
Just meet at the cemetery shop. At that time.
How about fire department?
Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Yep, Wednesday.
Wednesday night, you doing it? Okay.
Yep.
Old timers not doing it, huh?
Oh, we're gonna get a hold of you.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
My lip is back.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
That's all that I have. I just a couple of things. I don't know. I've had some people come in about the new city building with some suggestions.
Oh.
I don't know when
Okay.
you want me to bring them up.
Oh, you can bring them up right now if you wish to let us know about them. And then you did tell them we're having the public meetings and stuff too. So what, or did their questions get answered?
No, they just gave suggestions
Oh.
on buildings in
Mhm.
town
Okay.
to possibly utilize. You know, the Good Samaritan building, of course, now, but I know that you're.
That's probably booked, but
Yeah. And then, you know, of course, Western has the Western Equipment Finance building over there as well. That's a little over 15,000 square feet,
mhm.
as well, so.
And those buildings, that one has been mentioned and we have thought about it along with some others downtown. Actually, there's another one that just came up that's possible. Maybe gonna go look at tomorrow and see what potential has, but we certainly are. And to squelch the rumors, there's no brand new city hall being built. I'll make that crystal clear. It's not a brand new city hall. So anyway.
And Mayor, members of the commission, I think it would just add, especially with the building options and everything. The team and the staff in the back, we've slowly been compiling a list of, hey, these are options. Some would work with the model of, hey, this would only work if we did in partnership with the sheriff's office, right? Or we owned a building, we leased it to a bunch of others. This one will work just for the police department. Hey, this site would work, all those sorts of things. And so we're going to start cast a wide net and then slowly with your guys' assistance, try and narrow it down so that we get the 2 or 3 best possible alternatives. And then discussions with other community partners will probably dictate some of that. And so maybe as we get closer to the election, bring that wider net a little bit more closer. But then, until you know whether or not you have the funding or not, you really can't pull the trigger. And also to, once if you can't dictate a place before you have the money.
No.
Also to.
But public interest is
transactions.
great to get input
Yeah.
from them, so there's no.
So we have a list. It's probably this wide, and we want to work with you guys to get it narrowed down. Maybe see are there things that aren't on there that should be on there, and then dwindle it down.
Sure.
So,
And to squash a rumor, I was contacted that there's a rumor going around that the city is holding an election without a no option on the ballot. There has never been an election that I can think of where you could not vote no on it. So this is a normal election. It's not going to be one where you're going to have to vote yes, period, and take it.
No.
So just to squash that rumor.
Okay, yeah. No, everybody has a right to make their decision, whatever it may be, but yeah.
and Mayor, if I could maybe just piggyback on that note and what you had said with the new city hall and all that sort of stuff, and maybe it was. I think we're a lot smarter than we were 4 months ago, right? When we had first talked about this, we had identified police department being a big concern, or the location of the police department being less desirable, traffic, all that sort of stuff. And that relocating downtown would be a great idea. And we have a city hall location downtown. And so that was kind of the first idea. But it was all dictated by moving the police department. And we're not looking to move city hall unless it would be the best benefit determined by the residents of the community, by the city commission, right? And so, no, we're not doing this to move city hall. But, as you learn what your options are, you become smarter and wiser. And are we a lot smarter than we were 4 months ago?
Mhm.
And infinitely more smarter. And that's okay to say, I think. And so
I don't know if that's
figured it'd be blunt
proper
about that.
English to say more smarter, but
Yes. Are we more smarter? Yes, we are. So, yeah.
Well, as long as I'm not saying it, my wife wouldn't like it.
As we've gotten more information, we have broadened our scope appropriately.
Sure. Okay,
Thank you.
proper English, yeah, okay.
That's all that I had, just those couple of.
Yeah,
things.
and that's great that
Yeah.
they're giving us input, and yes, we'll listen to it. So, all right, that's it. Okay, Commissioner Hatch.
Mike, anything from sanitation other than what we have here?
No, that's what I was going to tackle. Commissioner, can we start at engineering and work
Sure, go ahead.
through the
How about
agenda?
engineering? Let's check with
Okay.
engineering.
So you got, okay,
A couple things with engineering. One thing I would, the city is represented on the Devils Lake Access Committee. So it's the Lake Access Committee is a committee, the city's represented, the county's represented, as well as the park board. And all entities put money into this lake access. And an exciting project that we're working on currently, we're working with Wheelchairs and Walleyes. It's a nonprofit group. And this week, we're working to put together a project out in Lakewood, just south of the Bible camp on park board property. That would be basically it's a concrete elevated pad that would have a wheelchair lift on it, as well as a lift for people that are mobility impaired. If you can get up on a ramp with a walker, you'd sit on a seat and be able to be lifted into a boat. So the whole idea is to provide more access to the lake. And we're working with different groups to see that thing constructed. A lot of that construction is going to occur this week. We're hoping tomorrow, then we have some rain coming, Wednesday set things up, and then work through this week. There'll be a ribbon cutting and a ceremony, and the commissioners will be getting a postcard from Susie over at the chamber. I think that's June 7th. So
June 8th, isn't it?
It was June 8th. I had June 8th written down. And then I got something sent to me today that said June 7th.
Oh.
So I'm going to defer to
Okay.
the postcard because the information I was sent today
Oh.
said June 7th, but I had June 8th written on everything. So
Okay.
I'm not going to say the date. It's the 7th.
Well, my granddaughter graduates that weekend, so I won't be able to be present, so I'll be gone.
Okay.
So I won't be able to do the open ribbon cutting with her like she wanted.
And they hope to do an event that weekend as well, to utilize all of the facilities, hoping to put in not only the lift, sidewalk amenities, tie into the bathroom up there, adequate parking, and have everything ADA compliant. So it would be a nice additional benefit. In addition to the ADA fishing piers that the city worked on, 10 years ago or so, this would be another access point for the lake for those folks that are a little bit elderly or a little mobility impaired. Really nice project. The engineering department's fortunate enough to be part of it. With that, within your packet is some recommendations for awards. The first award is the recommendation for the 2025 asphalt and concrete street repair. There's a memo included within your packet. Recommendation that the award goes to Tri-State Paving in the amount of $116,900. Of course, the final dollar amount is dictated by installed quantities. When they provide a bid, we put together an estimate of the quantities for the amount of utility repair, street repair, and things like that. But the actual dollar amount will be dictated by how much we do. It's part of that work.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract bid to Tri-State Paving.
Commissioner Kanowski,
I'll second.
Commissioner Hatch. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Kanowski.
Aye.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
Commissioner Eulenkamp.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
President Moe.
Aye. Motion carries.
There's another recommendation that's included in your packet. It's for the 2025 curb gutter and sidewalk. Recommendation is to award the contract to Lakeview Construction in the amount of $54,295.25. Again, the actual dollar amounts will be based on how much curb gutter, sidewalk, and concrete items that we do repair. I'd also recommend that we have the option to utilize the second bidder in the event that the low bidder is unable to complete work in a timely fashion. Sometimes people get busy and we need to get a section of sidewalk done. If they can get it done, get it tore out, get it replaced, we'll use the primary contract. But if we have a time frame, the dollar amounts are fairly close. If we have to get it done and the other contractor's free and able to get it done, we just have to have some flexibility
Will
there.
you let us know too if that does happen? If they can't get it done in time and you have to go over to the other one, or do you just go ahead and, with this, if it's approved, just go to that person?
We would just do that. The dollar amounts are, it would be well underneath our bidding threshold anyway.
Okay.
So it shouldn't be an issue with that. I just want to make sure that everybody is on board with what we're doing there. We've done the same thing as far as asphalt. In some cases, you might have an asphalt company that's mixing asphalt, and the other asphalt plant is way over here, and we'd have to drive a truck to get it, even though it's a little bit cheaper, but we can pick it up locally for this price. So we've been able to do that in the past. We don't use a lot of, that volume, so it's not a big dollar amount, but it just gives that flexibility.
I'll make a motion to approve the bid for curb gutter and sidewalk to Lakeview Construction.
Commissioner Pierce,
Second.
Commissioner Eulenkamp.
So with the understanding that if they have to go to the other bidder.
Okay. Any further discussion?
It'll all be coordinated with the primary contract. He'll have the first opportunity. It's just if they're in a big pour someplace or something, you can't get to it in time frame.
No further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Kanowski.
Aye.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
Commissioner Eulenkamp.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce. President Moe.
Aye. Motion carries.
Now sanitation.
Sanitation.
Last week, we had our public input meeting from 4 to 6 at city office. Helen and I attended. It was advertised. We put that information out. So you have to think that the general public has a lot of faith in us and what we're proceeding with as far as residential garbage collection. The public input meeting is mandated as part of any funds coming through USDA. So we're checking the box as far as if we're going to receive a loan through USDA or potentially a grant. We were kind of after both. Right now, there aren't any grant funds available. So the only thing that's available through USDA would be a low interest loan. City administrators involved with that. So we held the public input meeting. We had information available. We were going to have a discussion with it, and nobody attended. So Helen and I had a good conversation about dual side load automated residential garbage collection. With that, we did receive a bid for the dual auto side load refuse truck. And the idea behind this, the dual side load, is that one truck could drive down the alley and be able to pick cans from both sides of the alley. So there's cameras on the truck, he's driving, and the arms are able to reach to grab the passenger side as well as the driver's side. So one pass down the alley, you're able to collect both sides. Within that, we had a proposal provided by Sanitation Products. Sanitation Products, they met all the specifications and the requirements of the proposal. The amount of the quote within the proposal was $429,434. The truck that we had put together requesting for the proposals, very similar to the trucks that are currently used, purchased by Valley City, Jamestown, and Minot. A lot of the larger cities are using something like that. With this particular truck as well, the side it's got a drop side to it. In the alley, we all know there's a lot of things. There's overhead wires and there's tree branches and there's things of that nature. And so this particular truck doesn't have to lift the can way over the top and dump it in the top. It dumps it kind of in the side. It's got a drop deck in it, so the cans don't have to be lifted aside. I think that's the best option for alley residential garbage collection. In addition to the base bid, they did offer some options for extended warranty. Corey and I discussed the extended warranty options for the chassis. And it seems like going with warranty, additional warranty, is the best approach because everything is so expensive. When something goes out, and it's all emission control, and the emission controls are getting higher and higher. If you have one item go out in your emission control, you can be into something for thousands of dollars. So to purchase an additional warranty on that chassis of that truck, $6,600, basically you have a bumper-to-bumper warranty on the chassis for that first 5 years. And so we would recommend that as well. So the total cost of the automated truck and extended warranty would be $436,034. Recommend approval of that award. Realistically, we won't take possession of that truck for probably 15 months, something in that time frame. And so that's when we have to come up with the money. We don't pay for the truck until we take possession. Right now, we're looking at probably that next August, September time frame.
So Mike, with the purchase of this truck, is there a contingency plan if that truck goes down? I mean, the guys aren't going to be picking up these garbage cans, if there's some other options. Is there something that, have we ever considered if we do have a problem with this current truck, if we just buy it and something goes bad? Is there something that we've considered that we're going to be able to do?
Yeah, so in addition to the purchase of the truck, we're modifying our rear loads to have tippers on them. And so the other trucks will have the tippers that would allow somebody to manually grab the can, pull it up to the truck, and then the truck would dump it.
Okay.
So yes, we have to have a backup plan because even the brand new vehicles, they have to have maintenance. Sometimes things happen and they break down. And so the backup plan is to have the other trucks modified to be able to receive those cans. By doing that, there's a lot more manual labor involved, of course, because you'll have to physically move the can from its location, bring it to the truck, dump it, return the can to that location. But that's our backup plan. Eventually, as this proceeds, we'll be looking at another truck sometime down the road as a backup. Or we cycle the new truck to be the backup when we get some age on it, and then we start a rotation schedule with that.
Have you considered the size of the cans yet?
We have.
I was going to ask that too. So what's the process of the timeline of them getting here to get out to people?
Do people pay
looking
for
too
them?
far?
Yeah, that was my question too. Do
Well, the city was
residents
buying
pay
them, I
for these
believe.
new cans or?
That'll be included in the budget.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be included with your sanitation rates. right? But we have equipment reserve funds. And so the can purchase will be included in that. Somebody doesn't have to come up with the $80 to buy the can, right? That'll be city funded. And then we'll work through paying for that. Right now, it's kind of looking like the USDA loan would probably be utilized for the purchase of the truck. And then the $300,000 that we had budgeted for, the garbage truck that we're not spending, some of those funds would be used for can purchase and modification of the trucks for the tippers. So we have that. Realistically, as far as the cans, a few things there. In all likelihood, we're going to go to a 64-gallon can. There's different vendors, and some are 60 gallon, some are 64, but like a 64-gallon can and a 96-gallon can. A 32-gallon can we won't be utilizing. They're not sturdy enough to stay upright in the wind. Right? So you need to go with a little bit larger can. Residents have an option which can they want to go with. I suspect that people that currently pay for one 32-gallon can will be getting a 64-gallon can. And you think a 64-gallon can is double of a 32, right? But it doesn't really work out that way because of the shape of the cans. You can't get as much in a 64 as you can in two 32s. It's the way it kind of works out. Depends upon the vendor. We have to look at different options as far as manufacture for the cans. So you'd have an option for a 64 and a 96. That's what we're looking at.
One can per household,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
one can per household.
Typically it'd be one can per household. We haven't worked through all of those options. If you need two 96-gallon cans, you have to look at doing some recycling or,
Yeah,
but it
I don't think-
happens. I get it.
it would be kind of a hassle to have two at every place, so.
We wouldn't, that's
That wouldn't be
not a goal.
recommended.
We wouldn't want two 64s. There are going to be places that potentially have multiple 96s, like apartment buildings and things like that,
Yeah,
that we'd have to look at. As far as taking possession of the cans, right now we will be looking at, the cans sometime just in advance of the truck. The lead time on the cans is nowhere near what it is to get the truck. Right now, that's to get the cans, we're looking at a couple months. So the plan is to have the cans and to roll those cans out. That's a process in itself because that can has a barcode. That barcode is attached to that address and a certain name. So we have to go through a process there. But we may do that, have those cans out shortly in advance of the truck. And then we'll be using the tippers just for the collection.
Storage of those cans when they get here. Goodness.
I'm sorry.
outside,
Storage of those cans once they get here. I'm just thinking how many, that's gonna be a lot of cans.
Yeah, once we receive them, we won't have them in shop very long because we'll have a good indication when the truck's coming, and then we'll
We'll
coordinate
rent
that
it.
effort. The commission has one of the big issues with residential collection is manpower. Let's face it.
Yep.
I mean, we work through the economics of it all, but when you can't fill positions and you have to float bodies to make things work because the garbage has to be collected.
I think we all agree that this is a good way to go. It's just getting those logistics when people start asking us, so we can answer the questions, basically.
That's the current plan.
Mayor, members of the commission, I think as you guys can, right, all the way up to this point, we've done the easy part. This is the easy part. Contingent upon your approval, then the hard part starts right now, is the execution of this thing. And in the procurement of the cans, in the public information campaign, in overhauling our rate structure for sanitation, in working with property owners and switching out cans and those sorts of things, those are going to be very difficult. And I know for a fact, meeting frequently with Mike and Devin and Corey on this, we're going to work our damnedest to make you guys proud and the city proud that, hey, this is going to come with a lot of disruption, but we're going to do it in the best way that we possibly can and try have the residents be proud of what we did, working hard and making what would be disrupting a smooth process as well as it can be.
we just have one residential service truck right now, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So
The commercial truck picks up residential in some areas,
Okay,
but for the most part, it's a residential and a commercial.
right.
But they both pick up residential in certain times. And then they roll through, we have double days and things like that.
Yeah.
So you have to do double routes.
And it really, I mean, with you guys approving this, it makes it real. And for us as staff, it starts the clock. Boom. We got to go. We've got to get a lot in order. We're up to the task. And I know this.
There's no doubt you're up, there's no doubt there. I mean, you guys,
Yeah.
you all have done so much.
Homework's been,
Could I ask a question?
yes,
We had this similar service in Dickinson. And in Dickinson, all of the properties were required to have a certain, like 3x3x3 concrete slab for the cans. Have you heard anything? Is that still something that's required? Because everyone had to do that there, changes.
Our plan is not to require the slab,
Okay.
but you do have to have an open area, that 3x3 around the can, because there's arms and grippers that are coming out to grab it. And it can't be right next to something, right? So that's kind of a part of an informational campaign that we'll put out. And then that's one of the ideas behind putting the cans out in advance so that our staff can put that can in a location. Here's where your can goes. Here's where your can goes.
and my
And so we
neighbors are-
can use that as an educational tool.
Yeah.
Once that automated truck starts, what we have to do is make sure that people are putting the can in the appropriate location, because the driver can't get out, right? He can't keep getting out. And if you get out for one, then you get out for the next one. No, this is where your can goes as part of the informational campaign. And if it's not placed in a location that they can safely grab it, it'll be.
Just like anything new, it's gonna have its issues, and we're just gonna take our time to get used to it, and
hope you have good neighbors you can put side by side and it won't be too big of an issue.
And Corey's done a good job of going to these other communities that have the automated trucks.
Yeah.
Driving with them, seeing how it works, getting smarter. That was part of the whole process that led us up to this point. You know, and it's been a process, a period of time of looking at recycling, looking at this truck, looking at how we can better operate within sanitation and be more efficient, do more with less. That's just the way it has to work.
so
Oh,
we
yeah.
just we need a,
Yeah, we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase for, trying to get back to the right page here.
429.
436.
436, $436,034 for the dual auto side load refuse truck.
Okay, we have a motion. Commissioner Eulenkamp. Okay, any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Kowski.
Aye.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
Commissioner Eulenkamp.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
President Moe.
Aye. Motion carries.
Work continues on the College Track project. The other projects, we haven't had a pre-construction meeting yet, so I don't have any time schedules for the other work with the engineering. But the traffic signal work, the school crossing work, that's what's going on right now in College Track. That's all I have, Commissioner, unless you have questions.
I have nothing else.
Okay. Commissioner Kanowski.
Sewer and water, Mike.
Utilities, looking at starting some hydrant flushing later this week into next. Start on the north end of town and we'll be working through town. And so there might be some discolored water and things like that when we stir up those mains. So we'll put information on our Facebook page and get that information out as well. But we have to get through that. Doing some work up at the water plant this last week, changing around some things up there. They did some extended maintenance, typically do semi-annually. So we did some work up there last week, and working with water guys to make sure that the plant's running efficiently. That's all I have.
That's it, sir.
That's it. Okay. Chief, your turn.
There's just a few things, Mayor. We have a patrol position open, and we'll be conducting interviews. We're open for June 2nd on Monday. Sergeant Graywater and Officer Brock, I've talked about this in the past. They completed that defensive tactics training last week. So they'll be training our members. We're looking at purchasing some blue guns. They're for training purposes to kind of mimic our pistols, and it's helpful for retention when we do the defensive tactics training. And we'll also be doing some alcohol and tobacco compliance training tomorrow with Corporal Dallas and Corporal Gilbert. So we'll be attending that at Lake Region State College. So that's about all I got for you, unless you have questions.
Nothing. Anybody have any questions for the chief? Thank you. Spencer?
Mayor, members, it's just really just a bunch of gratitude from myself and I think city staff, just to the commission in general. You know, if you talk to other colleagues around the state, I think sometimes, you know, working between the administration and the council and the commission, some people get on the commission and they try to, you know, tear things down or whatever. And, you know, I just feel that we're really supported by this commission specifically. You know, I think about the fire department, the police department, what you guys just did with sanitation, you know, a big project that's going to impact everybody, and the mindset you guys brought to it and everything. I just have a lot of gratitude towards you guys and working with you guys as a commission. So thank you very much. And I try to remind staff that we have it very good. You guys are great to work with. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Spencer, what do you want?
It's budget time coming up. It's budget time.
Well, no, I just think about, you know, a big project like the sanitation thing that we just brought forward that's going to impact pretty much every resident in town. And to think, well, how long, 15 years, 10 years, Mike? How long has that been discussed? 15, 10 years? And
All of it.
Long time.
we've gotten to the
It's been
point.
reviewed in the past. Now we've met a point where it makes sense.
And like I said, we've done the easy part now, but now comes the hard part, and here we go. Thank you.
Okay, we got to backtrack a little bit, but Okay.
See?
Commissioner Hatton.
Dominic.
You're the forgotten soul
Dominic's
over
just
there.
way too
We got to
quiet.
get him on the other side
Yeah.
of it.
That was the problem. You have anything for us?
Not much. FAA just told us on last Tuesday we are getting 1.6 million in entitlements coming up because of our boarding numbers, and they're to be used for airport improvement projects.
Nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
Nice little bonus.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Keep flying out of Devil's Home.
Oh, yeah. Well, my wife is doing that and she found it cheaper than anywhere else. So
It's even gonna be better starting what? June 21st?
June 26th
Or
is when we
26th?
have the direct flight to Denver.
That would be nice.
And turns out that they're not moving it 2 hours earlier. It's just 2 hours because the Jamestown Lake's cut out. It's just 2 hours. You get arrive 2 hours earlier.
That's nice.
perfect.
So that $1.6 million, what's that used for?
Airport improvement, like say if there's a taxiway or runway that needs to be repaved or remilled, it would be used to basically fund improvement projects.
So there's no time frame to retain that money, or do you have to
You have to
use
use
it? in a certain
it every 3 years. It's given to you yearly, but you have 3 years to use it.
So you can let it build up to a sum that you could do a big project with. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dominic. Sorry I forgot you again.
It's okay, I wasn't here last week. I was getting the camera shut down.
Okay.
More information than I needed to know.
All right. Okay. All right.
Okay, you continue.
Okay. It's Jason's turn. So
There's several proposed ordinances on the agenda for tonight. They'll all be up for second reading. So we'll discuss more at that time, but tonight would be the time to take action, whether to approve or reject.
okay. All right. Thank you. Just some hospital update. Spencer and myself and a couple other community service on the hospital committee. I had the opportunity to go to Grand Forks last week to sit down with a little community forum that Altru put on. CEO Todd Forkel and Dr. Deere did the presentation, and they had 4 doctors and surgeons that were there that spoke to us all. There was probably about 80 people present, and they served us lunch and updated us on what Altru and Grand Forks is doing, and they had a great presentation of what the plans for Devil's Lake. And so everybody got to hear what their intent is. And actually, all the news that they were going to do for the updates here. Tanner White has been hired. I think it's been announced, and he will be moving here next week. He's got a place to live, and he's bringing his family here. And in fact, Spencer and I are going to meet with him on Wednesday, have coffee, and introduce him to a few people in the community so that he can get involved in the community also. So it's looking good. We're still waiting for the result from the Vatican. Well, the final piece of the picture. So,
Since the Pope's an American, it should go a little faster.
well, Pope has nothing to do with it. So, but it's still the Register of Deeds or whatever their people are called. But it's going to happen. It's just it's frustrating for them also. But a lot of good things. They got a lot of good potential things lined up for this hospital, and so it's pretty exciting.
Is that public information?
Yeah.
Is that somewhere that can be broadcast or at least expressed what they're going to do?
Oh, yeah. Well, let's see. Yeah, I'm sure Tanner will start publicizing what they're going to do. You know, they've got a foot doctor and they've got a hand specialist already on board. And then they were talking about robots and how they're doing some things and doing gallbladders and things of that nature. So that's stuff.
Did they talk security at all?
They didn't, and I guess that'll be something we can visit with on Wednesday when we have coffee with them. So, yeah, I don't know
would
what.
assume with the clinic that they would bring that
Yeah,
over and
I know.
expand that.
I think that was asked one other time, and I don't remember where the conversation went.
It's on the mind of the current staff there constantly.
Yeah,
And on
I think
the-
it's a concerning thing. You want security, and I don't know what they got in hand. So we'll have that as a question for him. But you know, he's gonna get on board, and he's gonna be an intern to CHI for the time being, and then transition over at the time of the final sale. That's what I know in the hospital. So stay tuned.
Mayor, I would just add that the new dialysis bed next couple of weeks, they should have those, I think, 5 or 6 new beds up and going.
Corey did hit me up after they said that. It's a little bit longer than
It's a little longer,
that.
we could say, 'cause
Yeah, he did come to me and say, hey, don't take what they just said.
Okay.
So that got extended a little bit more, but yeah.
Soon.
Soon.
But they're coming. That's a good thing to hear.
Yeah,
Dialysis was, yeah.
exactly. With
Awesome.
no questions to that, we'll move on. And the next item is old business. We have nothing there. Consent agenda, nothing. So we'll go into new business. And the first item, resolution designating polling location for the special election to be held July 22nd, 2025. Spencer, anything?
Resolution designating the Memorial Building as a place for election. I have double and triple checked and double reserved it with the county auditor.
And there will be a no position on the ballot, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes and no.
Yes.
And no.
Okay. All right. So no action necessary on that?
Yeah, with recommend approval.
Oh, okay.
Designated, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution designating the memorial building as the polling location. for
Okay.
the
Commissioner Eulenkamp,
I'll second it.
Commissioner Kanowski. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 2, approval of the ballot language for the special election on July 22nd, 2025.
Paramount members of the commission, as we've gone through the plan of the purposes for the sales tax dollars, they are, there's a defined plan, but the plan is broad with multiple pieces, and so therefore putting a lot of uses there for the sales tax, and really be on us to communicate to the public what is the specific plan in detail, but have ran this by the city attorney and gotten affirmation that we should be good with this language. Okay. Unless the city attorney has anything to say.
No, as Mr. Halverson said, I've reviewed it. It's consistent with what's been done in the past. I approve that ballot language.
I'll make a motion to approve
Commissioner Pierce,
the wording.
Second.
Commissioner Eulenkamp. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 3, contract for collection of city sales, use, and gross receipt taxes with the Office of the State Tax Commissioner.
Remember, members of the commission, this is just every biennium, we have this approved with the state tax commissioner office, so they administer and collect all the taxes for us and then remit them to us every month.
Mhm.
So, just a renewal.
Make a motion to approve The Office of State Tax Commissioner administer for the city of Devils Lake.
Okay,
Local
Commissioner,
Sales tax.
Commissioner Hatch,
I'll second it.
Commissioner Kanowski. Roll call on this one.
Commissioner Kanowski.
Aye.
Commissioner Hatch.
Aye.
Commissioner Eulenkamp.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
President Moe.
Aye. Motion carried. Item 4, property transfer via quick claim deed to Jobs Development Authority. Spencer.
Mayor and Moe, members of the commission, if you recall, we've been having that conversation about the housing project, the housing incentive fund pilot project that we're working with Police Construction on the south end of town. And at the next meeting, we're going to have a final contract and pricing before you guys at a JDA meeting for your approval. We have gone back and forth numerous times with the contractor. You know, originally the contractor, leasing companies, they come to us and say, hey, would you guys want to partner on such a pilot program? And we, of course, said under the right conditions, of course, at mutually beneficial terms, we would be open to that. And you guys had approved us sending the application. And so we have sent the application, we've gotten the approval. And throughout it, we've been looking at various lots in town. Previously, we were looking at the north end. They were going to expand on the north end, but then we had determined that probably wasn't the best course, just given a variety of factors. And so looking at the city-owned lots on the south end of town, there in that Strongquist area. Originally, you guys had transferred 4 lots on the north end of 16th Street Southeast. And taking a better look at the soil conditions there, it seemed most prudent to adapt and take the 2 furthest east lots and do the 2 across the street, immediately across the street for those 4 houses. I'm not a soil expert, but there's a bunch of fill in there, which makes it a little bit more complicated for building a slab on grade home, which is going to be what's proposed. And so, again, taking this from the city, moving it over to the Jobs Development Authority, which gives us more tools on our tool belt. You're not obligating or confirming any contract. We're just transferring lots from the city to the Jobs Development Authority, of which the City Commission is the de facto board of directors of and has control over, just has more tools on our tool belt. And we will have the final contract, layout, design, and dollars in front of you at the next JDA meeting for your consideration for approval. But this would be an initial first step to making that possible. And like I said, we had brought this for you before. It was 4 lots. We want to adapt and move from on the picture, the 2 green lots on the bottom. We want to move to those 2 far east ones. Mike, do I need to say anything else? Did I forget anything else? Pretty simple.
Pretty simple. It's all soils related because it's going to be a slab on grade. Visiting with Rob, City Assessor's Office, those are the types of homes that seem to
Well,
go the best.
that deed we voted on last time for these other 2 plots, does anything need to be changed with that?
I
No,
think it's transferred.
they've been transferred to the Jobs Development
They're just
Authority.
gonna
So again,
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
The green are done. Now you're working on the blue.
I'll make a motion to transfer the property over to the Jobs Development Authority.
Commissioner Kanowski,
I'll second.
Commissioner Hatch. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, now we'll get into the ordinances. The second reading of ordinance 1012, section 808010 definitions. You have anything first, Jason?
I went through an explanation at the last meeting, so I'll briefly do that again. I know that generally go through these sequentially. In this particular case, I think it's best to look at them as a group. And so I'll refer to them as their ordinance number because it's fewer digits. So the first one, ordinance number 1012 on definitions. The change being made is we're taking the definition of blighted structures and removing it from that particular part of the code, and instead putting it into chapter 8.32 of the code. Because that chapter 8.32 has to deal with substandard structures. And actually, if this commission approves, blighted structures. It'll all be in that same place, that same chapter. So that's gonna take care of your two of these ordinances, 1012 and 1017. Just moving the definition to a different place in the code, okay? The next one, 1013, maintenance of blighted structure unlawful. If you look at the proposed ordinance, it says it's repealed. Yes, but only because we're moving it again to a different place in the municipal code. Blighted structures and their unlawfulness is now going to be in 832. So that takes care of, and when I say takes care of, I'm hoping it takes care of the explanation of proposed ordinance 1013 and proposed ordinance 1018. And then to jump around some more, if you'll bear with me, proposed ordinance number 1016. All this is giving a new title to the chapter. Instead of calling it substandard structures, it's blighted or substandard, and actually blighted or substandard buildings or structures. Just so if a citizen, if anyone is looking, they can see chapter 832, blighted or substandard buildings or structures. I know where to look now. Hopefully that's what they will say. Everything is in that chapter. So that's just reorganizing, not changing, reorganizing. As to the actual substantive changes, proposed ordinance 1014, removal by police department. What we're doing here is that there's language in this ordinance that says no fewer than 2 days, no more than 30 days, and it has to do with giving notice to the property owner. Hey, you need to remove this this nuisance. I see no reason why there's such a thing as too much notice. I have to give you at least, according to the municipal code, I have to give you 2 days notice. But it doesn't seem to be any reason to prohibit more than 30 days notice, as if I have 40 days notice, that's a bad thing. In my opinion, it makes no sense. It actually appears in a couple other places in the municipal code. So that's all that's being done, removing the more than 30 days language from that ordinance. It does not work a hardship on the citizen, on the property owner. In fact, I think it's just a nullity. But the reason to get rid of it is because then we put nuisance control officers, police officers, the city itself into a little window where they have to get things done and give notice within a certain period of time. So that is proposed ordinance 1014. One left, proposed ordinance number 1015. This is an ordinance that prohibits certain conduct. The one that is readily enforceable is things that happen at the recycling center. Unlawful dumping, okay? What we're doing is changing, right now the penalty clause is something like a monetary fine. What we're doing now, or what we're asking the commission to do, is change this to an infraction with the possibility of repeat offenders being charged out as a Class B misdemeanor. You may recall from the last set of nuisance ordinances that were brought before you that we did the same thing. Those repeat offenders can then have that deterrent factor of the Class B misdemeanor being brought for the third offense. So it's just rewording that penalty clause. And again, the chief of police can tell you about unlawful dumping that has happened recently at the recycling center. And as to other issues that have been brought up about issues at the city landfill, we're still working on that to work on some of the jurisdictional things, because we have a city-owned property, as I say, in an island out in the county. How do we enforce that? That's an ongoing discussion. But for now, it's just changing the penalty to infraction. So I know I went through all of those as a whole, as a group, but That's my explanation unless there are any questions on any of these.
But we have to individually adopt them, right?
Yes,
We can't do it as a group.
I wish you could, but my recommendation is that you approve them and that you approve them individually,
No problem.
even if it's a bit cumbersome.
That's, no, that's fine.
We're doing it right.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so any questions on his explanations, first of all, yes? On it.
Good explanation.
We're comfortable with everything, so I guess we'll start with second reading of 1012. What's the wishes?
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 1012.
Commissioner Hatch,
I'll second.
Commissioner Pierce. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 6, second reading of 1013, maintenance blighted structure unlawful.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 1013.
Commissioner Kanowski,
Second.
Commissioner Hatch. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 7, second reading of ordinance 1014, removal by police, department, or another city entity, agent, or designee.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 1014.
Commissioner Eulenkamp,
Second it.
Commissioner Kanowski. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 8, second reading of ordinance 1015, sanitation requirements.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 1015.
Commissioner Pierce, Commissioner Eulenkamp. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 9, ordinance 1016, blighted substandard buildings or structures.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 1016.
Commissioner Kanowski,
I'll second.
Commissioner Pierce. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 10, second reading ordinance 1017, definition of blighted structures.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 1017.
Commissioner Eulenkamp,
Second. Go ahead, Rob.
Second.
Commissioner Hatch.
Arm wrestle over.
Any further discussion? No further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 11, second reading of ordinance 1018, maintenance of blighted structure unlawful.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 1018.
Commissioner Pierce,
Second.
Commissioner Eulenkamp. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All in favor, everybody say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Wow. Anyway,
We're getting better at this.
oh, well, I'll screw it up somewhere. If not tonight, another night. Trust me. Well, that concludes that work. Anything under citizen comment? Nobody here for that tonight? We have informational items, April 2025 financial report. It's in our files. And if nothing comes before the commission, we need a motion to pay the payment of list of bills as submitted.
Make a motion to pay the bills. That's so.
Commissioner Pierce,
Second.
Commissioner Eulenkamp. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Kanowski,
Aye.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
Commissioner Eulenkamp,
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
And
And
the mayor.
President Mo.
Okay, you messed me up. Okay. Okay, motion passed. Okay. I said aye, right? Okay.
I spoke
See?
too soon.
Sure did. Nothing like jinxing me. Okay. Is there anything else to come before the commission? If not,
Just wanted
meeting adjourned.
to thank Jason for his
Yes,
work on these
oh,
ordinances.
Absolutely.
Thank you so very much.
This has been a group effort with Spencer and Chief Toast.
Everybody, thank you.
Mike, Nate. So it's not, I'm sorry if that was me.
You do that again?
That was him.
No, that was him.
Wow.
Thank you.
It's like scratching the